Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you all so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Thank you for being with me here today. Super excited to share with you 3 Atlantic 75 Analogue Productions recent releases. Genesis, which just came out in just the past few days, and these 2 Otis Redding albums. Really 3 nice sounding albums. But boy, I tell you what, great music on all 3 of these albums. Super excited to share with you my thoughts on these albums. As always, if you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. That's great. I appreciate that. But most important to me is please leave comments in the comment section below. Thank you so much for doing that. I appreciate that more than you know. I really can't get better if I don't hear from you so that I could really make adjustments on the things that we talk about, the subject matter that we talk about, as well as the way that we present these videos, in particular when we're doing comparisons to other pressings. Thank you so much for your comments. I appreciate it so much. It really does help me try and get better so that I can better give you better information that you're really looking for. So thank you, and please leave comments in the comment section below. So the things that we're going to cover today is these 3 great albums. We're going to go through these relatively quickly, and I'm going to try and keep this video short, but I'm also going to talk about and just really quickly throw out with you a disclaimer that I've received a few really good comments in the comments that you have been given back. And I just want to talk about that and really quickly throw out a disclaimer so that we can kind of maybe, and once again, all I'm trying to do is help you, and thank you for helping me with your comments. And I just want to help you by kind of describing to you how I go about things and what is going on behind the scenes here when I make these videos. Let's go ahead and get started. First off, let me just quickly just throw out this disclaimer really quick. I've had a few comments in the comment section that you guys leave. Thank you so much for doing that, by the way, and I appreciate it way more than you'll ever know. But I've had a few comments that have kind of maybe said that I've been kind of slightly slanted towards and maybe have a bias in favor of Analogue Productions, and not only the Atlantic 75, but really any Analogue Productions albums that I've reviewed. And lately, to be honest with you, I have reviewed an awful lot of Analogue Productions. We're doing one today on all Analogue Productions. My next video will be on the Crosby, Stills and Nash album as part of the Atlantic 75 that just got released. So we have been kind of focusing on Atlantic 75 because there's been so doggone many releases that have come out from Analogue Productions that have really piqued my interest. But really quickly, the disclaimer that I want to throw out to you is really this. It is true, as of late, in the reviews that I have done of Analogue Productions, that I went back and gone through them, that I have really made some pretty positive comments on Analogue Productions products, in particular and mostly on the Atlantic 75 series that they have been doing. And to be honest with you, and this is where the disclaimer comes in, I admit it, but you know what? I can't deny the fact that Analogue Productions, at least in this past little while that they've been doing, in particular the Atlantic 75 series and others, they've been doing a fantastic job. I can't deny the fact that these albums that they're remastering and pressing have not been absolutely wonderful. Now, I don't buy everything that Analogue Productions sends out. I only buy the albums that I really and truly like, and that's what the albums that I get. If you've noticed, I don't do a lot of everything that comes out because it just doesn't pique my interest, or it's just something that I'm just not really that interested in. And so I don't purchase them, and so we don't review them. But here's the disclaimer. I only purchase albums that I truly, really like. And here is really the big part of that. I do not get any promotional copies from Analogue Productions or any other record manufacturer or distributor. I purchase everything that I review with my own funds. There's nothing that is given to me as far as discounts or anything of that nature. So that's really the quick disclaimer that I wanted to throw out. Everything that I review, I purchase with my own money, and I don't have any promotional copies given to me or presented to me with a discount. So I just wanted to throw that out. And yes, admittedly, I have really been favorable to a lot of the Analogue productions, even the Atlantic 75 series albums, because to be honest with you, and I can't deny the fact that they're good. They sound great. My whole charge here, and I love doing this, is so fun to talk about great music and great pressings and great sound. My whole point is just to provide you with enough information that if it's an album that you like, you can maybe make a decision whether you do or whether you don't want to purchase this album. And ultimately, that's going to be up to you. And so really, that's my whole charge, is just to provide information on what I'm hearing through my system and through my ears. And so that's really my whole goal. But I wanted to throw that out so that everyone knew that I don't get promotional copies of anything. I don't get discounts on anything. I purchase everything, buying things for the exact same price that you're paying for them. And that's really what I do. I don't buy everything that comes out. I can't afford to do that. But I do buy a lot of albums that really pique my interest. And some albums that I buy are not just full-on represses. Some of the albums I didn't have before. These three would represent that. I didn't have either one of these. Now, I did have Genesis on a vinyl album when it first came out, but like many of you out there, when CDs came out, I kind of shoved it off and got rid of it. Anyway, that was my disclaimer. Thank you so much. Let's go ahead and get started and let's start with talking about the two Otis Redding albums first. Okay, let's start off with Otis Redding, Complete and Unbelievable, the Otis Redding Dictionary of Soul. This album was originally released in 1966. It was his fifth solo album and his last solo album before his death, which was really quite sad because, boy, I tell you what, this is a great album. And along with Otis Blue, boy, I tell you what, they were some of his best albums of his career, in my opinion. That's really the reasons why I picked them up. I vetted these albums out, and the music on them is absolutely really sensational. And I tell you what, Otis Redding on both these albums was accompanied by some incredible musicians. Let me tell you who they are really quick. Of course, you got Otis Redding on vocals, Booker T. Jones, bass guitar, keyboards, and vibraphone, Isaac Hayes on piano, Steve Cropper, guitar, Donald Dunn on bass guitar, Al Jackson Jr. on drums, and Wayne Jackson on trumpet, and Gil Capel tenor saxophone as well. Andrew Love and Joe Arnold tenor saxophones, and Floyd Newman baritone saxophone. So he was accompanied by a lot of the great soul. And if you guys, I don't know if you remember the Blues Brothers, when that movie came out, a lot of these musicians were involved with that. Steve Cropper, Donald Duck Dunn, just really a fun time for music in the 1960s. And I tell you what, this is a fantastic album. Let's go ahead and take a look and see what Analogue Productions has done with this incredibly awesome album. Of course, we've talked about with the Analogue Productions Atlantic 75 series, the gatefold Stanton old style type jackets are just incredible. Let me open this up so you can see it and get it so that you can't get glare. I think they're just absolutely fantastic with incredible pictures of Otis Redding and so forth. They just do a great job. This album was mastered by Bernie Grundman for Analogue Productions. He's done a great job, took that from the original Analog master tapes. Of course, it was originally released on Volt Records, which was kind of a subsidiary, if I'm saying that right, of Stax Records. And so really, they were really recorded quite well to begin with. Let's go ahead and quickly talk about the sound. And I'm not going to talk about every song on this. I'm just going to highlight some of the ones that I thought were really good and just kind of quickly tell you about them. It's a 45 RPM, is like all the Analogue Atlantic 75 albums are. 45 RPM, so we got 2 albums. On side 1, third song in, Tennessee Waltz. This is a great rendition of this fabulous, famous, excellent song. The rendition here that Otis has done is fantastic. Drums are excellent with nice definition. Bass provides an excellent foundation to the song. Horns are superb and extended on the top end. They are very clean and very well defined. Worth the cost for this track alone, in my opinion, because it's such a great rendition of the Tennessee Waltz. You really should hear it. If you're not familiar with the album, vet that song out with it. That was really a good one. Moving over to side 3, My Lover's Prayer. Vocals are in the right speaker. They sound absolutely excellent. Horns sound excellent. Bass has good weight, and the song is absolutely wonderful. Staying on side 3, the third song on side 3, Ton of Joy. Piano and horns are very good. Otis's vocals are nice and very, very clear. Moving over to side 4, You're Still My Baby. This is an excellent song as well. You might want to really look at vetting this song out if you're unfamiliar with this album. It's a great, great song. Otis's vocals on this song is absolutely stunning. Horns and drums are first rate. Organ is very, very clear and clean with excellent detail. Bass is excellent with good weight and definition. You know, great song to vet the album out with. Really and truthfully, in conclusion, I think the remastering job that Bernie Grundman has done with this 1966 original release that was done in 1966 is absolutely excellent. I mean, you're reviving a 1966 tape, and then you're bringing it. It really does sound quite good, considering its age. Excellent sounding blues and soul album. The definition and detail is excellent. They're really, really good. Of course, we talk about it all the time, and I'm sorry to be a broken record to you, but the quiet vinyl is certainly adding to all of this excellent quality of sound that we're getting. Once again, Bernie Grundman, I think, has done a fantastic job of remastering this really excellent, excellent album. If you've not heard of it, vet it out, give it a try. Absolutely. It's a wonderful, wonderful album with incredibly great music on it. Otis Redding, complete and unbelievable. The Otis Redding Dictionary of Soul. Okay, let's jump right into Otis Blue, Otis Redding Sings Soul. The album really is basically known as Otis Blue. It came out originally in 1965 and was his third solo album. Now, interestingly enough, the musicians on this album are basically the same as they are on Dictionary of Soul. So really, those musicians are pretty much the same guys. However, the sound quality on this album, being a year older, is widely different. And when we get into the sound and I talk about this, this is a really, really a good sounding album. Let's first go ahead and take a quick peek at the album cover, as we always like to do. And just like the last one, you can see the album is just absolutely stunning. The pictures on the inside, and I'm hoping you're seeing these without a lot of glare. Great pictures of Otis. Of course, the backside, really neat. Of course, my number is 1472. Excellent, excellent album. I won't show you the vinyl because they're basically the same. It's on the Volt label, which is subsidiary of Stax Records. Pretty much the same. The thing that's different on this album, Kevin Gray did the mastering on this album. And for whatever reason, as we get in and talk about the sound really quickly, this album really sounds good. And as we get into it, I'll talk with you about it. As we talk about, these are 45 RPM albums. There's 2 albums here. Let me just jump in. Side 1, second song in, Respect, the Aretha Franklin made classic. Aretha Franklin was really the one that really made and did this song and really made it popular. But Otis Redding's version of it on this album is really, really good. You have to hear it if you're not familiar with it. Great sounding version of this classic song. Horns and vocals are excellent. Bass and drums are very nice. Excellent clarity on this track. Very excellent clarity. I just can't even begin to tell you how wonderful the instruments sound in their clarity and in their well-defined detail. It's really quite good. Jumping over to side 2, Down in the Alley. This is an excellent sounding track, clean with excellent detail on all instruments, including Otis's vocals. Horns are wonderful. Percussion and drums sound very natural and super clean and open. And really, this album approaches the sound quality as one of those albums that you are there in the room. It approaches that. It really, truly does, because it was recorded so very, very well. Kevin Gray's done a really masterful job in creating and remastering this album. Moving over to side 3, Shake. This is the song that you want to vet the album out with if you're unfamiliar with it. Shake is just a great song. I put in my notes, wow, what a great track. Excellent recording. Horns are just absolutely spectacular in upper end extension and detail. Vocals are great, as is the drums and all percussion. Excellent track. If you want to vet the album out, this is the one that I would probably jump to. It does have that nearly, really gets close to that in the room type of presentation. Second song on side 3, right after Shake, My Girl, a classic song. I love this Smokey Robinson song. It's just really good. And Otis Redding's rendition of it is excellent. It really just sounds really, really good. I might even like it a little bit better than the original Smokey. Anyway, it's a great, you need to listen to it. Another one that you might want to vet out. Otis vocals are spectacular on this track. Horns again are wonderful. Bass and drums are excellent as well. Really, really nice track. Moving over to side 4, second song in, Satisfaction, another rendition of a fantastic song. Satisfaction, of course, Rolling Stones. Great sounding rendition of the classic Stones hit. Horns, bass, and guitar, along with Otis vocals, are excellent with fine detail and clarity. And in all honesty, this album here, for whatever reason, is strikingly good sounding. It is really approaching, not there, but it really approaches in the room type of presence. It's just, it really does make you just perk up and listen rather than relax and sit back and enjoy the music. The music forces you, the recording forces you to listen to the album because it sounds really that good. It's really a well remastered album, I believe, by Analogue Productions. Really, really a great ground. Otis Redding sings soul, Otis Blue. Fantastic album. Okay, moving right into Genesis, self-titled Genesis. This was their 12th album, released in 1983. Members of the band for this album are Mike Rutherford, guitars, bass, backing vocals. Of course, Phil Collins, drums, vocals, and percussion, lead vocals, I should say. Tony Banks, keyboards, and backing vocals. That was the 3 main members of the band at the time that they recorded this album. It was their 12th studio album by Genesis. Let's just quickly go ahead and take a look and see what Analogue Productions has done with this album. This is a fantastic cover. I think this is a good looking album. I had the original pressing in 1983 of this and got rid of it and bought the CD. And anyway, I'm sure a lot of you probably did that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the inside of the album. Absolutely fantastic looking album. The back side, my number on this one is 826. Really, really nice looking album. This album was remastered by Chris Bellman at Bernie Grundman Mastering and really has done a great job. That's really why I was so excited to pick this album up, as I do remember the original pressing. I wished I had it, but I don't. CD sounds really nice. But to be honest with you, I was really excited to hear what these guys would do with this fantastic album. Now, really, musicality-wise, there's a couple, 3 hits. Well, There's a couple of really good songs, starting with That's All here in the United States. Mama, first track on side 1, was really a big hit in the UK and is a great song. But here in the US, That's All really was the big hit off of the album. Let's jump in really quick and just quickly talk about, really quick, let me just show you the vinyl really quick on this, because it is a little bit different. I don't know if it's really any different, but it's awesome looking. Of course, 180 gram, 45 RPM, absolutely fantastic job. My version of this album is absolutely dead quiet and no snaps, crackles, or pops. Perfect copy of the album. Side 1 on this album, Genesis, self-titled Genesis. First song, second song in on side 2, or on side 1, is That's All. That was really the big hit here. Really a neat song for me. Probably the album that really made me discover Genesis, going back into their catalog. The Lamb Lies Down on Broadway, Trick of the Tail. Really great albums. A lot of those albums that have been released by Analogue Production and at the Atlantic 75, I purchased on SACD, and they sound fantastic as well. Anyway, That's All. Just a great song with excellent vocals by Phil Collins. The drums that he plays are absolutely really nice presented here. Good weight to them and fine detail. Rolling over to side 2, I think the side 2 is probably the best on the album, which features Home by the Sea, and then the second song on side 2 is Second Home by the Sea. They really run into one another for the most part. They're instrumental type song. There is a little bit of vocal by Phil in this song, but you know what, to be honest with you, they're mostly vocal and they sound absolutely incredible. Drums on both tracks by Phil sound absolutely stunning. They have absolutely good weight. Keyboards are very excellent. They really do sound well. All percussion sounds very nice. Guitar towards the middle of the track, which really kind of is moving into the second Home by the Sea, is very well defined. Nice extension on the top end of that guitar. Really sounds really good. Moving over to side 3, Illegal Alien. This would be a good one if you're not familiar with the album to vet the album out on. It's got really good sounding drums by Phil Collins. Extension is really good. Phil's vocals are excellent. Keyboards, again, are excellent. Nice clarity on all instruments. Percussion is super clean and clear and very well detailed. Saying on side 3, Just a Job to Do. This is probably the other hit in the United States. Well, it was one of my favorite songs. I shouldn't say it was a hit, but it was a great song and did receive quite a bit of airplay. Great drums on the entrance to this cut. Phil's vocals are excellent. Balance between vocals and instruments are nice and extended, in particular on that top end. Rolling over to side 4, It's Gonna Get Better. Great song. Another one that's worth vetting out if you're not familiar with the album. Nice weight and detail on the drums, on the track. The vocals are absolutely excellent. Lovers of Genesis, in particular, lovers of Genesis, the self-titled albums, are going to like the sound of this album. It really has a good, huge improvement, at least over the CD that I've got, in up and down, top to bottom. Extension is just way better. Fine detail is actually quite stunning on the album. It sounds really nice. I think really Chris Bellman did a great job in remastering this album. It sounds absolutely wonderful. Genesis, self-titled album, Genesis 12th studio album. Great repressing and remastering of a 1983 classic album by Genesis. Thank you all so much for being with me here today. I appreciate each and every one of you so very much. Next video, we're going to take a look at Crosby, Stills, and Nash, CSN, and take a look at that. That's another Atlantic Analogue Productions pressing. We'll take a look at that and compare it to a 1977 pressing, and also a Steve Hoffman gold CD that came out, I think, in 2013. Not really sure of that. year. But we'll be comparing that album and taking a listen to that as well. Thank you so much for being with me here today. If you like what you see, please go ahead and subscribe. But as always, please leave comments in the comment section below. Have a great day.